Okay, so everyone should have a wonderful green circle to start, right? You should have a green circle. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do two things. We're going to create classes for shapes, and then we're going to use them as SFML, as well as we're going to learn how to use dynamic arrays in C++, which will also help us to draw more circles. So the first things first, I'm going to go over the first piece, and then I'm going to give you guys a lab. So I have this lab here, which is to use classes for circles. And what I'm going to do is go over 1, 2, and 3 in this lab with everyone, and then I'm going to give you guys 5 through 12. And ultimately, you're going to end up with something like this. So something that draws a circle, a rectangle, and a square. And we're going to use the classes that we've kind of been writing already to draw this stuff. So first thing first, I'm going to get rid of the existing green circle. And also change the window size to be 1280 by 720. I'm just going to get rid of the shape here. Leave drawing it. So we're going to create a header file and a CPP file for our classes. And this is going to be a lot like what we did for homework. We're going to make a new item in our solution that's going to be for shapes. So I'm going to have you guys make both a header and a CPP file. And I actually described this all in the doc as well. So if you get lost, and you can catch up in the lab doc too. So I describe what functions you have to write. I'm going to make a new header called shapes. And I'm also going to make a new CPP file at the same time called shapes.cpp.
Is there any reason to not do just the add class?
You mean through here, like through the class wizard, or like through this?
Yeah, that's how I usually make them.
You can. It's kind of hiding some of the stuff that you normally have to do. Like for me, I like to know what exactly it's doing. Like I know that this thing does like a wizard and says like, oh, I can make, I can do all this stuff. It kind of is a crutch a little bit. Like I'm okay with you using this as soon as you guys learn how to write a class from scratch without like needing to refer to something. I'd rather have you guys, because like a lot of times it's just faster just to like write a class. And in fact, a lot of times this doesn't help you if you have to write multiple classes in the same file anyway. So I don't know. It's like any wizard. It's like almost like auto aim in like a game. It's sure you can use it.
I'm curious if it was like it had any drawbacks.
It has no. The only drawback is that you are basically not teaching yourself how to write it effectively. So it's up to you. I literally have used this maybe once for a home project, and then never again, just because I was like, I don't really need it. Plus, at the same time, I like the knowledge that I get from writing my own classes that way. Yeah, what's up?
Can you drop the doc on Zoom?
Oh yeah, sorry. Let me put this. I will put all of the labs and the homework on there too.
I turned in the one from the today.
Oh, you did? Okay.
No.
Oh, you're gonna turn it next week? Okay, that's good. All right. Yeah, on Zool, I put a few docs and a zip file, which includes some assets we'll need for homework, but you can just copy everything for now. Yeah, we're doing lab 1 right now. So I'm going to go over lab number 1, 2, and 3. I'm sorry, I'm going to go, in lab 1, I'm going to go over 1, 2, and 3. Okay. So let's go to the header file, and let's talk about what we're going to do. I want to set up our classes so we can draw a circle, a square, and a rectangle. And I want the circle, square, and rectangle to each be a class. And the hierarchy is going to be kind of like what we've been doing before. We have our shape. We have a shape, and under shape we have a circle, we'll have a square, and we'll have a rectangle. So we're going to just make these two to start. So I'm going to make a class that's called shape. And without doing anything else, I'm just going to make a class that's called circle that derives from shape. So this is what I'm going to start with here, just these two classes. Nothing inside the classes at all. This is totally okay. And I want to describe this relationship of a shape to a circle and a square and a rectangle a little bit. Here's our circle. Square. And we have our rectangle, right? And we have our shape. So I want to ask the question, what is the one thing that all three of these, the circle, square, and rectangle, are going to do inside of our program? What is the common thing that all three of these are going to do?
Make a shape.
Make a shape, right? They're going to draw to the screen, right? All three of these things are going to draw something to the screen. Which means, because all three of these do the same thing, where they draw something to the screen, I'm going to put that behavior here. I'm going to put the drawing to the screen behavior up in shape, right? So I'm going to make something that is called a virtual member function. This is very similar to the virtual area function that we did for homework. But instead of returning the area, this thing's going to be a little bit more useful. This thing's going to handle allowing the circle, square, and shape to draw to the screen. I'm going to create one function here that's going to be public. And it's going to be a void function. And I'm just going to call it draw to start. Remember, I want all of my shapes to do this, though. I want all of them to draw. Here's the thing, though. When I'm drawing a shape, I can't just say draw. I actually need to draw it onto a window. Like SFML requires us. Remember, whenever we're drawing stuff in SFML, we have this call here, right? We have this call, draw the shape. So the window, you're telling the window, hey, draw this shape. Which means that if we want to draw anything at all onto our screen, we need to tell it where the window is. Okay? So in this case here, inside of our shapes header, not only do we have to say, hey, I'd like to draw, we also have to tell it which window we want to draw it on. Which means we have to take this window here, which is an SF render window, and pass it into that function. Okay? So what this means is that I need to pass in a pointer to this guy, to this render window. So I know I'm going to pass in a pointer, so I'm just going to write it here. I'm going to pass in an SF render window because I know that's what I need. All right. And it's going to be a pointer to an SF render window called window. And I'm just going to create empty curly braces here as well, just to keep this empty. And notice here, it's not highlighting it. It doesn't know what this render window is, again, because I need to include the header, and the render window happens to be included in this header here, SFML Graphics HPP. So we'll put this at the top here. So here's what we're going to do. We're actually going to leave this function blank, because we don't actually need this function in shape to do anything other than just declare it. Because each circle, square, and rectangle, they know what shape to draw. The circle is going to draw a circle shape, and the rectangle is going to draw a rectangle shape. So I'm going to leave this empty. And instead, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to implement this function as well inside the circle. So I'm going to write the same exact function. I'm going to copy this whole function, paste it here. I'm going to get rid of the things that I'm going to actually move into another file. So here I'm going to delete this. I'm going to delete this keyword virtual because I don't need it anymore. And literally this is what I'm going to write here. And this function we're going to implement in our CPP file. We could implement it here, but I kind of want you guys to get used to implementing these functions elsewhere. So I have this function which is called draw. It's in the circle class. So I'm going to switch to my shapes.cpp. At the very top of my shapes.cpp, I'm going to include shapes.h because I know I need that. And I know that I have a function that's a void under circle called draw. Takes an SF render window All right, so now we're actually going to draw something here. If you guys remember how to draw a circle, right here we define a shape, which is going to be a radius 10. We shape.set fill color, whatever we want, I guess red maybe. Kind of depends on what you want it to be colored. And window, draw. That's going to be our code for drawing. Notice here, we're declaring the shape right here inside the draw function. This is not actually where we want it to be, but this is good for the example. Okay. So now, if you look, this is all these three lines right here will draw a circle. As long as I call this function on the circle, it'll just draw one that's red. And it'll draw it at 0, 0, 0, so it'll draw it in the upper left corner. That's okay too. So now all we have to do is we actually have to create an object of a circle type. So go back to here into engine. And here's what we're actually going to do. I'm going to create a pointer to a shape. I'm going to create a new circle. And making sure that we include our shapes.h at the top. I declare my shape variable like this, which is a new circle. And then right in between the clear and the display, I'm just going to call draw on the circle. So here's my line where I declare the new circle. It's right outside the while loop for the windows open. This is basically creating the object that I had just written, the one that we just wrote, which is circle, even though it's storing it in the pointer of shape. And then I'm going to call draw on it. However, draw requires an argument. Remember, we have to tell the shape what window we want to draw it on, right? So what window are we going to pass into this draw function? Does anyone have any idea? Yeah, window here. This is the variable name. However, it says it needs a pointer to a window. It needs the memory address of a window. How do we get the memory address of this window variable? Can anyone remember? Ampersand, right? Okay, that's what you have to do. All right, assuming you have all that, when you run it, you should now have a red circle with radius of 10 in the upper left corner. Super tiny. Red dot. If you have build errors, make sure that you have everything included and that you resolve the name. Double click on your first error. So you have semicolon braces here. You need to get rid of those braces. And you also need to, and then in shape.security, you include.
Yeah, it's weird. It's not giving me any of like the red lines or anything, or changing the colors.
Did you include shape.h inside mention?
Yeah.
And at the top of shape.h, you should include render SFL graphics. Try to compile again now.
Yeah, it's just weird because it's not doing all the colors. So I don't know what.
Where did you add these files to?
From the actual where I had it in my.
Can you right click on the file name and say open containing folder?
Yeah, I'm just